Good afternoon, everyone. It's Don. Okay, we've been getting lots of time on this Yamaha. We've been heading out deep. The old Panga's been panning out. We've got about 220 hours on it now. And you know, all my running is deep water. If any guys run backwater, I recommend you change your water pump, your impellers, you know, every 100 hours or less, and get a kit as well with the plate and all. Me, I'm deep water all the time. I'm not sucking up any sand or debris, so just an impeller. I'm sure we'll inspect it when we get it off. But this is a Yamaha F115 4-stroke, and most of them are the same. I think the 90s, they're all the same. And we're changing the impeller. We're using a Yamaha only impeller. I won't use aftermarket, so you know, let's not make this a long video. Let's show you how we change a water pump on this. Mostly, I believe, number 14, and we'll have 3 bolts going up on either side. These are 14. All right, first thing, and a lot of people miss this step, your torque tab. Geez, look at there. I'm ready for a new one. That's got to come off first. There's a bolt underneath there, and you can't see it, nothing here. Take this little rubber plug out the top. It just pops right in there. There we go. And down in there is a bolt that goes through to hold that torque tab on. And that's number 12. I need to find a place to put this camera down so I don't have to walk back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Like that. All right, number 12. There we go. You see it moving in there. Let's see if we can get this camera to stay somehow. There we go. Okay, we got to hold this so it doesn't just be spinning around. And I'm getting a new torque tab now that I've looked at this, and this is an anoid. It's made out of a sacrificial metal. It's made to eat up so that your motor doesn't. And usually they'll come with a new nut at the same time. This one's coming out very easily. I was told these newer Yamahas, they actually grease the threads a little bit before they put them together. Back in the old days, they never did that. Well, that's pretty dry looking. And you can see it's eating up in there. This one's going away. Okay, this is the one everybody misses. Here's a bolt going up. Right here. And if you don't get that one, oh, that's number 14. I've seen people pry and about destroy their lower units trying to get them off because they don't know that bolt. So we're doing that one first. Right up underneath the motor there. Okay, there it is. Yeah, it looks like they put something on there. Okay, 14, 14, 14, one on each side. This is the one that's a little tight tolerances right there, so we're going to do that one first. There we go, get that broke loose. Won't have no problem there. Leave the last one in a little bit so it holds the lower unit up for a second, because I got to show you something else. Something that gets overlooked. Usually at the last minute when your hands are full, you're like, oh geez, I forgot about that. Okay, here's another item you don't want to forget. This hose goes down into your lower unit, and this is what your speedometer reads off, or your water pressure gauge, whatever you decide to use. But you got to cut one of them little wire ties off and separate that right there at that little fitting. Usually I remember about the time I got the lower unit halfway down and it's stretching on the hose and I can't let go, and it's a mess. There we go. Okay, so now that'll drop down through. Okay, those are my ground wires. Okay, let's pull it down. So we've got the one bolt left. Pull that out and then I can give it a hit, it'll come down. And what you need to do, I mean, you don't have to, you can work on it laying on a bench, but it's a pain. And I got a little makeshift bench right here, and I got these 2x4s sticking out of my sawhorses. I'll just separate them a little bit, slide the unit in there, and then I can push it quite tight on it again. That way I can work standing up, everything will be good. All right, let's get this thing off. And they're usually stuck on there a little bit. It's just not going to fall off. Usually got to give it a little hit, sometimes with a rubber mallet. All right, let's see what happens. Oh. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1. All right. There we go. Got to get mean with it sometimes. And when it goes, it's going to want to go. So be ready. This is my just-in-case screwdriver. There we go. Didn't take much. Okay, I got a handful of it. My little rubber hose is coming down. Got a hold of the shaft. Sorry, I couldn't carry the camera and bring that over there. And so you can see I just separated the 2x4s a little bit, slide the lower unit in there. Boom, now I can work on it. Okay, we're taking off our 4 bolts on the housing. Those are number 12s, and they're usually not all that tight, so I'm just going to use my cordless impact here. Put it on takeoff, not on take on. And that's that for that. Take our 4 bolts off. 2. And these are all the same length. Now we just pull our water pump housing straight up off of there. Just like that. Okay, you see this little O-ring stayed down here. And you look in the channel there, there's a channel where that O-ring rides inside there. Make sure you get that back in. A lot of times I'll put just a little bit of grease or something to hold that in place when you put it back on so it don't drop out on you. And usually the cup will come out with the housing. In this case it didn't. I'm going to pull it straight up and off there. Just like that. Okay, we got our cup back in. And this is one of the things you got to inspect. This is all nice and shiny and smooth. A lot of guys that are on backwater, they pull sand up in there and this will all be scarred up, not in good shape. And that'll cause you to lose water pump pressure. You'll have to then you get a water pump kit. Comes with this housing and all. But anyways, we got this in the right place. My 2 tabs are lined up. And you can see the little lip over right there goes into where it pulls the water. So we know everything's good there, ready to go. And let's get the little retainer off. Okay, so this is the retaining collar. It squeezes down over this plastic bushing here and really just holds everything in place. You can see the crush washers underneath it. See where that's split? So we'll pull that off. Pull the bushing off. Now I'm just putting over these to the side in the order I take them off. There's a couple little crush washers. Okay, and that's it. Now my water pump, and they don't always just slide right up off there. Let's see what kind of luck we got. Hey, it's moving. It's moving. Here we go. I got a lot of luck today. And you can see it's got a mark for the keyway. It only goes through to the one side, so that's your upside. Here's my keyway over here. Okay, we got our new impeller. Can only go the one way. It's got the opening for the keyway. We're going to line that up, put it right over the keyway on the shaft. I'll turn it straight forward with the shift shaft here so we can see where it goes. There we go, that's all the way down. Put our washer pack back on there. Washer, crush washer, flat washer. Back down. Okay, we've got a retaining collar on there. These retaining collars are really only on the newer motors. None of your old ones had this. Okay, and that's down. You don't want it's down far enough because that crack right there will come together. Okay. Our sleeve over the top. Holds it all in place. I bet you if you went to your Yamaha dealer, he's got a tool for doing this. I don't. I'm a homeowner, so I'm going to take my pliers. I'm not squeezing anything. I'm just putting them where they just fit over that edge and push on both sides at the same time. I'm going to give that a little tap down. Okay, so we've got our retaining clamp down. Everything's free, spinning the way it's supposed to. We've made sure our plate wasn't scratched up. This is where a lot of people struggle. They try to get this impeller back in the housing. They soap it up. I've seen them grease it, do all sorts of things. You don't need to do any of that. You need to get it started over top of it, and you're going to turn your shaft clockwise and just slightly push down on this housing at the same time. And it'll roll right up in there. There we go. Now we're installing everything. Grease is your friend, especially with salt water. We want to make sure that this is that much easier the next time I take it apart. A little extra grease on your shift shaft. Extra grease on the splines where it goes into the power head. I'm sure there's a torque spec on these. I'm not sure what it is. I could have looked it up. It's just a plastic housing, but just good and snug, and you'll know because it's all the way down seated. But I look at everything good, and you'll know it's right. Okay, time to reverse this procedure and get it back up in place. Here's you get to watch me struggle for a minute. It's that easy, but it's not. I got to lift this thing up. Our shift shaft has to go into the collar here. Obviously the drive shaft goes up through, and there's a little hose right there. It's got to line up at the back of the water pump. And don't forget, now we've been turning that motor shaft. Them splines aren't going to necessarily line right up, so sometimes you got to fuddle around with that a little bit and get it in place. Let's see how lucky we get. Here we go. Okay, not a lot of talking there. Just reverse the process. Put all your bolts back on. Don't tighten them all up at one at a time. Get it in place. Snug them all a little bit. Make sure your units come up straight. Then come back and tighten them. I got to put my little hose back on for my water pressure. And I've not put this cover back on yet for my trim tab because I'm going to get a new one. I'll probably have that tomorrow. So other than that, this is done, ready to go. I'll put it on the hose, make sure it pumps water like it's supposed to, always before, you know, I make a fishing trip and be stranded out in the water. Okay, that's it. I hope it helps. Have a great day.